Good morning, viewers. Got a interesting little job here I'm getting ready to tackle, and I thought I'd bring you along. This thing is actually running. It came on about the time I walked in the door. It's for the restaurant next door, so what I'm going to end up doing is turning it off, cutting it loose, getting it out of the way, tearing out this old York. Looks like it was probably around 160,000 input. And put this thing back in the way it goes. Surprisingly, the complaint is there's no air conditioning. Getting her unhooked. The story I got on this thing is the tenant had a buddy bring this 5-ton Goodman out. I think it's 120,000 BTU. Got a 5-ton drive on it. It's a 97% furnace. Variable speed, all that. And what they did was they pulled the blower out of this old, too dark in there to see, but there's a blower, big old nasty greasy blower sitting in here. They pulled it out of the bottom. Which, let me see if I can get some light on. Okay. Which, there's the opening into the filter grills through the wall here. On the other side of the wall is where the restaurant thermostat's located. So they just stuck this, what is that, a 20-inch 90 up under that furnace where the old blower was. And like I say, it gave them some heat. Of course, they had to heat this whole area over here as well because they were pulling the air in around where the old blower used to be, coming into this room. Just had the return open back here. You can tell nobody's in this building over here, it's vacant, so they plugged up the louvers to try to keep the space as small as possible. And then was just trying to blow that air up through there. Of course, most of the air was leaking out and just short-circuiting. And when they cut the 5-ton AC on the roof, there wasn't enough air going across it, and of course it just froze up. So my goal is to get this thing out of the way. I'm gonna have to probably cut that old furnace out. As you can tell, they built this wall after the fact, so it sticks out in front of the furnace. So I'll probably have to split this thing in two to get it out piece by piece. I'm going to install the Goodman furnace in here on a plenum box that'll tie up to that duct going through the wall. And then I've got I bought a new 5-ton Goodman cased coil to set on top of it. And then I'll reconnect to the ductwork up there. Of course, I'll get what's left of this B vent out. I'll show you a shot on the roof when I go up and pump the AC down, but they did run this 2-inch PVC all the way out, so that was a that was surprising. When I first saw it, I figured it was just stuck up in there a foot or two based on the rest of the installation. I'm gonna get started, get this thing out of the way, and we'll get a few more shots. And she's out. That's probably the quickest furnace removal ever. I was a little worried about this vent because it had that 90 glued so close to it, but it wasn't glued in here, so I'll be golden when I put it back over here. I've not put any Goodman furnaces in, but what I find curious is they put the vent right here, and then their coil is going to have the refrigerant lines on the same side, but we got plenty of room. Hopefully I can just kick this over and get it out of the way. I've got to get over to the middle, or maybe even over to one side a little bit to get out through the roof up there. So, supply duct. I will get all this stuff moved out of here so I can cut this stack out of my way. And then I guess I'll try to, it's got a newer coil. It's just set inside the old case in there. It's kind of been hatcheted in. I'll probably go on up on the roof and pump the condenser down so I can cut this loose down here and get that old coil out of the way. Once I get that loose, it'll just be a matter of starting to saw this furnace up. You can see the old gas line actually came down inside the furnace here. Of course, my new furnace is not near as wide. So, got this old valve here turned off. These gas lines, you got 3 or 4 different meters depending on, this is on a different meter than this line. And all of the meters are on the opposite side of the building. Some of the lines go into the basement of the building over there. Some of it goes up the building. Either way, this comes out of the building next door. I'm not even going to attempt to go try to find another valve anywhere. But I should be able to cut the furnace out around this thing. And then, looks like they broke this union loose when they turned it around to hook it up to the new furnace. A lot of these old unions won't seal back good once you break them. Okay, here's what we got on the roof. There's that vent pipe coming up and through. You can see that left the inner side of the old B vent and the cap laying up here. This is an old Payne 5-ton condenser. What I'm going to do is pump it down. Of course, I got the liquid shut off already. I'm going to shut the suction off. I'm going to have to lay the phone down to do it because I'm going to have to hold the contactor in by hand. And once I get that pumped down, we'll be ready to cut it loose downstairs later. Obviously, the new coil was taller than the old coil, so they had to cut out the vibration damper and part of the duct there. But not to worry, they had a row of instant metal on the truck. The coil was a lot bigger than the old one. There was the top of the old case. So I'm going to drag it down out of there now. This thing wasn't made to replace the heat exchanger. All the screws for this header plate is on the side of the unit, which of course I can't get to either side. So I've sawed down both sides with Sawzall. But I can fold this thing down now. Maybe if I can get it broke loose and carried out of here, I can kind of fold the rest of the cabinet up and drag it out of this hole. What is that, hamburger grease? Okay, got the old one over in the next room all cut up and bent up. And what I've done in here, get out of light, I've took the tabs and put some S-lock on it. That's a 2-inch, old 2-inch 30 by 30 pad I had laying there at the shop. I took it out somewhere. I'd picked up 4 brick this morning to put under it and realized I saw that pad. I'm gonna try it. It'll be a little more solid. This is what I built last night at the shop in order to set the new furnace on. It gives us a 12 by 28 opening there, which will be plenty of air for 18 to 1900 CFM, whatever we have here. So I'm going to take this thing in there and see if I can get it slipped in those S-locks. I like it when a plan comes together. That is an old downspout. You can actually see the bottom of the gutter. See, that used to be the outside of the building. And it goes into an old terracotta pipe. That's too dark to see back there. That's where they had the drains going into. You can see there's been a number of them over the years. I think I'll tape up all the holes, except the very bottom one down there, and get me a drain line ran out of there, because it's hard to get back there. You actually have to go in a closet door over there and climb over this duct. Wish it wasn't so dark back in there. That's the wind, of course. It's not in use anymore. If you go inside the cafe, there's just a solid wall there. But orange and black is the colors of the local high school team. So I guess that was a holdover from years ago. Okay, kids. Got the furnace sitting on its new plenum. Got the coil box only sitting on top. I put the doors on it to square it up so I could get the duct attached to it. I've got to patch in, can't see, right over there. about 3 inches on either side we'll have to patch in, and then of course fix this thing there where they had the old coil in. But everything's working so far. I screwed everything from the union down off of this gas line. What I'll do is put a new union here. I'll come down and put a 3/4 inch T that has a 1/2 inch side outlet, and then a 3/4 inch drip leg. I'll go back a little bit, 90 into the valve here, and I'm just going to leave that. It wasn't leaking. That was the drip leg when it was in a horizontal position. So that'll give me a little place for gas hammer. And just like that, through the magic of video, we have gas. Got it turned on. I'll check it with my bubbles and see if we've got anything. Okay, we got the ductwork patched back up and the new coil sitting in place. This is what I was talking about on Goodman. You got your exhaust over here for your furnace, and then you got your drain and your refrigeration lines on the same side, but there's plenty of room right here to get your drain 90'd over and out. So I guess what I'll do here is pop up a little bit, 45 over to my straight up stack and go on up. Then I'll have plenty of room to hook these lines up. What I'm gonna try to do tonight is get the heat back on, which shouldn't be any problem now as long as everything works, and it was working when I got here, so unless I screwed it up. So I'll get the heat back on tonight, and then I'll come tomorrow and hook up the refrigeration, pressure test, full vacuum, probably swap that dryer out up on the roof, and then finish up any little thing that I hadn't thought of yet. So I'll get one more shot as I get it started up tonight, and I may or may not shoot the refrigeration tomorrow. This video is pretty long already, so but I'll get us a little bit more here in a few minutes when I get it fired up. Okay guys, she's up and running. I think it said it's running like 35% right now. I just turned the thermostat up. It sounds like it's ramping up a little bit right now. Yeah. Ramping on up. The wires are in front of the display. Walk next door and make sure it ain't blowing a bunch of debris out on the food, but I'll come back tomorrow and do the refrigeration. Got this stubbed up for the drain coming off the coil. I didn't do anything with it. This is my vent for my furnace drain. So, she's a chooching. Thanks for watching.